Hi there, this is the Common Magician. We are in the middle of Snowpocalypse 2022, and I have a snow day today. So I thought I'd make a video. I don't know how long this will be, but I'm going to talk about the things I carry. The everyday carry. I find some of those videos kind of obnoxious, but here I am doing one. So these are the things I carry, and these are the things I actually carry, the things I actually use. Not everything that I carry on my person, but the stuff related to magic. One thing about my philosophy being, the common magician, just the guy that does things sometimes, I tend to carry things that I use in normal life that can also be used for magic. So I'll talk about like wallet here in a second. When I carry a wallet, I carry my wallet. It's my wallet. I've made modifications or whatever that can suit me for magic, but it's the wallet I use to put my money in and keep my cards in and that kind of stuff. So that's how I kind of operate. I carry as few things on me that are magic as possible and only carry what I think that I would use in a given circumstance. I also only carry things that feel normal, things that you would find in a normal environment. I carry an old style of coin, the Morgan silver dollar I favor because it's larger. But even that, it looks like an heirloomy kind of passed down, legitimate coin, something that's old, maybe uncommon in that respect, but it was common at one time, and it would make sense if you're doing some magic to have a coin on you. And things related to that. But anyway, let's get on to it. Some things that I carry and don't carry may surprise you. We'll go through each and every one. I do not use these things with regularity. I use them very infrequently. We're talking about doing a trick a month kind of a thing, in the right kind of circumstance. I don't perform one trick and then another and then another and then another. If I did everything that I have on me, I'd probably have well over an hour's worth of performance material, but I'd never do that. It's usually one thing at a time. And I have it on me just so it's available to me. It doesn't take up a lot of space, doesn't weigh me down, doesn't get in the way, just some simple stuff. So the number one thing that I carry with me all the time, I've learned to do this over the past couple of years, I've gotten into this, is my Super Triple coin. So a Super Triple coin, which we've talked about on the channel, and I've gone over what this is and how it works and where you can get one relatively inexpensive online that will probably serve you well, and it serves well enough it may be the only one you ever buy, or it's so inexpensive you could buy these every year and you would still, over the course of several years, not match the price it would cost to buy one of the really expensive ones. So a little bit of kind of economical philosophy on that. So I carry this one that wasn't very expensive, around $15, I think, between $15 and $30 for this replica Morgan silver dollar Super Triple coin. I also carry a duplicate solid regular coin, obviously for switch out, so that this doesn't get handed out to spectators. This one goes out, and you've seen some of the routines I do with that. I always carry these no matter what. These are in my pocket, either in my back pocket so that I can ring them in, or they're just sitting in my front left pocket, and I can always reach in. They're among my keys and things like that. I can reach in, pull this one out, do a routine, either one coin routines using the features of this, or a multiple coin routine, and I have a way that I end clean and I can just pass out one at the very end. So that is something I always carry. I've been using it a whole lot over the last year, and it's kind of a regular thing that I do. If I'm doing a trick once a month, it tends to have something to do with this lately. In addition to that, recently I just posted a video about something I've been playing around with. Now, before this setup, I had been carrying a different setup. Get it here. I had been carrying this little wallet with hopping halves. So this is a silver dollar, silver half dollar, Kennedy half dollar, I should say, and then an English penny, copper coin, and then I had another Morgan replica in there with a regular English penny, and then a prediction. I've changed that to this recently, to a Victorian penny, kind of a more ancient, obscure coin, and then a Morgan replica, another one just a spare, a poker chip, and then a gimmick hopping half gimmick, but in the silver dollar size, with the Victorian penny on one side and the hopping half on the other side. I also keep a folding Morgan in here as well. So I keep a folding. I don't use it very often, but might be that impromptu moment when I can slip it into a bottle or do something like that. I never do the bite out coin. I've always felt that's too obvious, so I never ever do that. But I do keep it on me occasionally. I don't carry this all the time, but I carry it with me pretty frequently because it's out of the way. I just stick it in my back pocket, keep it back there, and I'm ready to do that routine or parts of the routine. I don't have to do every trick in the routine. I can just do some of it. So number one thing I carry, this is kind of the number two in the coin routine set that I keep on me. The nice thing about switching over to this too, from the other Morgan replicas that I was using, is that the replicas were steel before, and that kind of impacted this Super Triple coin, which is magnetic, of course. None of these gimmicks are magnetic, so I don't have that kind of issue where you're prying things apart. That's kind of nice. Everything has a brass core to it, or copper core to it, so it doesn't get stuck on anything. So that's my coin stuff that I carry. That alone would get me probably 15 minutes of magic. If I wanted to do all of it, I could do quite a routine and just do coin magic stuff, and it's all accessible, all easy, stuff that I can do, stuff that I know will work and that I know I won't mess up, I have control over, and stuff that the muscle memory is simple. I know I won't forget it. I can stay away from it for weeks and then just do it again, and it will be there for me. In the past, I have carried, before I did that, I was carrying just a set of 4 or 5 steel replica Morgans and doing some coins across, and I've covered that on the channel too. I don't do that anymore. I've really just kind of fallen to this. This is what I've decided on, that Super Triple coin. So, watch. I always wear this watch. I've gone through a couple of watches over the last year and a half. This is the last one I've gotten, and I've kind of settled on this. It's got a nice big white face on it. There's no logo on there. It's a minimalist watch. There's only hash marks and no numbers. And I've settled on a couple of effects or a short routine of a mentalist kind of timepiece. Not really mentalist magic, because the premise is that the hands move and go to a predicted sort of time. I've talked a little bit about this time travel kind of thing on some other videos. I've nuanced my performance a little bit more, but and I kind of like the way I'm doing it now. But I carry this. I don't do it very often, but again, it's one of those things that I don't have to practice much. I know it. It's easy to remember. There's really no sleights involved in it, no manipulation. It's no manipulation watch magic, watch mentalism. So just the fact that there's no logo and no numbers, I'm able to get away with a few concepts there. And it looks like a regular watch, and it was only $5. You know, $5, and shipping and handling was about $5. I got it on Etsy. I think I might have posted a couple of links in the past about these kinds of things, but that's an idea. If you're looking for a watch like that instead of a $300 watch that does amazing stuff, you can do one of these other more controlled, no touch, no sleight watch magic tricks that really looks a lot like those really expensive, mind-blowing kinds of effects. I mean, to the typical spectator, they wouldn't really know the difference if your presentation is good. If that's in your ballpark, you don't want to pay an arm and a leg for a watch. You want to search minimalist watch. Minimalist watches, just cheap Japanese movement watches that have no logos, no numbers on them. You can find these everywhere online. So that's another thing that I carry all the time, and it's my watch. I don't need a fancy watch. I find that I use my cell phone more often than not to tell time and date, things like that. So I can quickly glance at that. I know the time. I know how to tell time on a watch that has no numbers. So this is my regular watch that I use, but it also has that extra benefit. And I always wear a watch. I like to wear a watch. Wallet. So I have been carrying a trifold wallet with some of the things I'm going to talk about in this wallet in there. This is a bifold wallet. It's actually the last wallet that I used. It was in great shape, even though I got for a Christmas present a new trifold one recently. I think it was last Christmas or the year before. I can't remember if it was just this year or the year before. I don't like the trifold as much because of the way that I have to carry my magic in a wallet. It worked okay, but I really like the bifold. And I recently was playing around with peaks inside of a wallet. So over the last couple of months, I've been messing around with that. And I modified this one, and I have a couple of others I've modified too. Now, I haven't tested this one out yet. But this has a bunch of peaks, and all of these compartments have peaks, every single one of them. And I got the idea because I saw that the Cassidy wallet was coming back around. And I thought, you know, I have a couple of wallets that would really fit that kind of model. The Cassidy wallet is a limited run wallet that shows up every now and then that has 1 million peaks in it. And it's a regular kind of looking wallet. It's really big. That's the one complaint people make about it, is really large. This is a regular sized wallet that does a lot of the things that does. The peaks are inside of the billfold. So you put things in there and you can see inside what's going on in there. So given the order in which you put things in there, you could peek everything you put into these pockets and then take them back out again. That's one. I have this one that I've been carrying, which is a little bit larger, suits the carrying of magic stuff a little bit better. And on this side, there's 2 peaks. There's a peak here and a peak in that. So I can get a peak from the billfold from those. Haven't used it very much yet. I did a couple of test runs here in the house with some people, and it went great. So I think I might be experimenting around with that. I've got to decide on what kind of paper I want to use. I'm not a mentalist. I don't really want to carry around business card billets. I'm looking at ways to use Post-it notes in different sizes, and I'll talk about Post-it notes here in a minute, but just using regular Post-it notes, something that you might have on you, or put a little pad in there that I can take out. One justification for peeking I've been looking at is using a Post-it note or a small pad, and you place the item in there that was drawn on or written on, and it might even be folded. You slide it in there, and then in the action of placing the thin pad of Post-it notes into the billfold, you can grab the peak because the fold will open up inside. So just an idea that you might want to play around with. I won't explain it too much because I don't want to give up these marketed effects that are out there, but it does work on a premise that's been around for a long time. The cutout window inside there. Just some scissors. I really didn't have to do anything except cut out what I needed. And they're functional, you know, things stay in these pockets. They're not going to, if you put something in there, it's not going to go anywhere else. So one pocket there. The rest of these are normal. Another thing that I have in my wallet is a Colossal Killer. So Colossal Killer is a Kenton Knepper effect where it's a named card effect. Someone names a card, any card, and then you take it out of the wallet. There's some nuanced presentation to that, and a couple of outs that you can use for his variation of it, or at least the one that he marketed mostly. I just carry 4 queens. That's all I carry in this because honestly, I don't need to carry a bunch of cards in there to make it work. For a while I was carrying the 12 court cards and doing a 12 court card force, but I found that in Equivoque, which I recently talked about, in Equivoque, in 2 questions and then 1 free choice that really is not detectable, I can get them down to the queens. That's what I do. So I keep modified queens, actually. These are modified cards. This is the Queen of Spades right here. What I did is I took B cards, some old ones, ones that I had on the side, and then I shaved 1 millimeter all the way around. So I ended up with a couple millimeters less of the card, and then I corner rounded them. And if you're a card person and you stared at that for a long time, you would note that everything seems kind of tight and compact on it. But to a regular kind of spectator, even a magician, they're just looking at the card in a glance. As I take it out, they see that card and it looks like a regular sized playing card. The reason I did that is just so that I would have a little bit more coverage, so that I could bury it into the wallet a little bit better and it wouldn't be sticking out, you know, when I don't want it to be, when I'm just using my wallet or when I'm doing that effect. I don't want it to be hanging out there. So that was an idea. I carry those 4 queens on there. I used to carry the Colossal Killer, the original one, because I thought, oh man, it's a great out if I really mess up a trick. I found out I wasn't botching up tricks, so I never ever used it for that reason, and I wasn't using the effect. So then I went to the 12 card out, and then I'm down to the 4 card out. This is what I've been carrying for quite a while now, and it's a great impromptu thing. I just, you know, someone wants to see something, or I feel the urge to show something amazing. That's what I do. So I get them down to that and I pull it out and they have no idea. Another thing that I've been carrying And I carry it anyway, right? I have 3 cards. I've got my driver's license, a Visa card, and a MasterCard, and these are real. These are just, I'm not going to take them out because you can't see my numbers on them. But I had recently seen, within the last year, David on Magic Orthodoxy reviewed a trick called Contactless. And he just described I'd not seen this, but he just described the premise by Peter and Harry Nardi. The idea there is that someone selects a card out of the wallet, one of a few regular cards, credit cards or some other kind of card, and you identify it surefire every time which one it is. You can tell them the one they're thinking of, the one they've chosen. And when he described the effect, I instantly thought, I know exactly how I would do that. I'm certain that my method is not their method because I saw the rest of the review and I looked up the product and I saw kind of how it works in the demonstrations they did. But I like my method. My method works really good, and I'm not going to share it right now, but the idea there is that they can think of any one and then identify which one they're thinking of in a mysterious way. No fishing, nothing like that. It is the one that they're thinking of. So I carry that on me, and it's got some modification that has to go with that, but then I can still use my cards, of course, for anything. Really nothing added to the situation. So that's something I've been doing. I carry a Foreign Affair bill. That's a Gregory Wilson effect. I actually own his bill. I bought his gimmick because it was a Tyvek bill, and I liked the idea that it couldn't break. You know, it would last a long time. But I also printed my own. I printed my own copy. It is an older effect. It's been out in the market. I'll just show it to you because it's not a secret. You know what it is from the description, and it also shows up in print in a lot of places. It shows up in the Switch book, which we've talked about, and I think Greg teaches it on a lot of different material. It is intended for the bill change, right? And the idea there is that you take out a 1 and you can show it, right? And then you take the bill and it turns into another denomination, and the denominations are changing in value as it changes. So in the folding action, you get different denominations from different countries. And by the end of it, and what I do is I made a gimmick that goes from 1 to 5 to 10 to 20 and then up to 50. I played around with this for a while, taking it all the way to 100, and then I end with 100. I usually use a prop 100. I'll show you what I use in a minute. But then I stopped doing that because you want to give it away. You want people to see the bill at the end. So I changed it so that I start with the 1 and I end with the same 1, and I have a sort of comedic line that I use at the end, dealing with inflation and currency exchange, right? I carry this without a thumb tip and without the extra 1 now. And if I do have a thumb tip on me with the extra 1, I'll do it the regular way. But actually, if I just have a thumb tip, I'll just do a vanish. My gag is that in the exchange rate, I go higher and higher and higher to 50, but then I find out at the end when I bring it back to the United States, it's completely worthless, and I end up clean. It's actually a bill change and then a disappearance effect, and you end clean, of course, with that thumb tip. So I've been carrying this on me, and I don't use it unless I have a thumb tip, which I don't carry all the time, but I do keep it in my wallet, keeps it nice and safe. My bill is a real 1, and I actually erased the front side of the bill. I erased the entire front side of the bill. I took my time on it. I've talked on here about altering bills for serial numbers and making duplicates. I just used that process, erased the whole thing. I made up a gimmick with my printer, and then I ran the bill through the printer, and I printed my own side, and then I wax coated it so that it would protect the ink on there. And because it's a real bill, because it's a linen bill, it will last a very long time. I've had it for years. So I carry my own version, even though I bought Greg Wilson's. I kind of like mine better in the types of denominations I have on it and the sequence it goes in. So Foreign Affair, Gregory Wilson, I keep that. I also keep duplicate serial number bills. So back here, in the back side of my wallet, I keep my magic stuff, and then there's a center divide, and then I keep my real money in the front, and then one other item I'll talk about in a minute. But in the back, I keep duplicate bills. These are identical bills, so they have the exact same serial number, and I talked on the channel about how to do that. So you can do a bill to impossible location or various other kinds of effects that you can do just by having two bills that have the exact same serial number. So I keep those on me. Don't use them very often, but every now and then you're around people and you can come up with an opportunity to use them. You just hide one someplace, and then through the course of the evening you can do something magical. So I keep those on me. In this fold back here, I keep my regular cards that I need, so other things that I need like health insurance, things like that. So it's my regular wallet. But this one here, as I noted, is a peak, and this one here is also a peak. I can see from the inside of the billfold whatever is on whatever I put in there. So if I use a deck of cards and I put a selected playing card in there, and then I close up the bill or close up the wallet, I can actually hand it to someone to hold on to, and in that moment I know what card they put in that. So peaks in there. I have also a coin index. So this is something I talked about briefly on a video, but I also tipped this off on one of my video downloads at Penguin. I think it's the spread call video where I talk about this just kind of as a bonus. It's just cardstock with, I've got 4 pennies on one side, and then I've got a quarter, a nickel, and 2 dimes. And that can get me any number from 1 to up past 52. So I can come up with a value in that range, which is good for cards and card at location and various other kinds of effects, using anytime when I need to get change that is at a specific value and number that will help me to pay off something in the end. I may cover this at some point in the future, but you can do card at location even in an impromptu setting, where a card is named and you can control it a little bit, get it to a place, and then you can even have them shuffle the cards and then say, I've got some coins, I've got some change in my wallet here. I always carry a couple coins in there. And what you do is you stick your finger in and pop out of the index what you need and then dump, as if that's all the change in your pocket, in your wallet, and then you have the exact that you need. It's a better solution in my mind than doing the pocket grab. There's various effects and devices that do that. I covered one idea on this channel before using a pocket index. So this is just a better way of doing that same kind of idea that I can carry with me all the time in my wallet. I carry also a couple spare hundreds. This is a spare 100 that I use actually for the card effect over here that's essential to the effect. I carry that. And then I also carry another spare 100 for bill changes. So if I want to do a bill change and I don't have someone that has 100 and I have a thumb tip on me, I have it in my wallet. I can get it out ahead of time. It's already set. I just have to do one more fold on it. I can slip that in and do a bill switch. And if I'm doing that, it's good because if I'm going from a 1 to 100, I go back to the 1 and no one ever examines the 100. So it's a prop piece of money. For prop money, I use this company, Ruvence, which is probably a company that will disappear within the next year and it'll have another name. It's a Chinese print kind of company. They do prop money. And these are good bills. These are really, really nice. There's obviously figures on there that identify the money as prop money, but they are not obvious figures. So there's no big major alterations on there. Whatever is on there is in the text. Usually it says something a little bit different, you know, for motion picture use only, that kind of thing like that. But there's no like watermarks on it. The bill sizes are exactly what they should be. It's the proper size, and the coloring is absolutely spot on. So if someone handled one of these bills, if you gave it to them and they just kind of looked at it, it would look legitimate. I use these bills for that, but I also use them whenever I need to cut up money to make props that will wear out, eventually. Obviously, these are great for that. You can cut quarters off and make folding bills and things like that that are good for magic props and extra bills whenever you need them without having to carry 100 around. You'll always have it because you'll never spend it. So I carry a couple of those in my wallet. And this came in all denominations. There's several like 20 or 10 to 20 in every denomination, about $15 for that. So that'll last a long time. So what else do I have in here? That's pretty much it. Oh, I carry a raffle ticket. It's a real raffle ticket. I had an effect that I put on the channel years ago, a couple years ago, about the 1080 Force and a printed raffle ticket. I think I shared the printout with that. Can't remember if I did or not. This is just a real raffle ticket that has a number on it, and I've memorized the number, so I know what it is, 2448123. And I can get to that number a couple of different ways. I can use a force calculator app that I keep on my phone, which we'll talk about in a minute. Or I can do a card force, actually. If I take a deck of cards that's shuffled and in use, I can call the numbers I need, and then I can force them out and do a lottery prediction a couple of different ways there. So I don't carry a lottery ticket or a fake lottery ticket because I would never play the lottery, and people know that about me, so I can't do that effect. So the best I can do is just have a raffle ticket. It's the same idea, a raffle ticket with a number in it. So for kids, you know, for those of you that are young, you know, you're well underage to play the lottery, or those of you that are older that just ethically you would never touch the lottery, you can still do the lottery thing. You just have to find a different kind of item that has a number on it. It could be a UPC label, or it could be, you know, I don't know, price tag, right? It could be the credit card thing, although that seems a little fishy sometimes, credit card, you know, magic credit cards and whatnot. But I found the raffle ticket is something people know. They've seen these before. I can make a story to that about how I found this one time, and it was in a weird spot. I don't know how it got there. So I've always kept it on me for good luck, you know, that kind of a thing. You can make your own story. So that's pretty much what I carry in my wallet. Between that and the coins, I already have over an hour's worth of magic. And again, I never do these things all at one time, but you know, there it is. I have a lot of material just there. So the next things that I carry sometimes. That's what I carry all the time. Sometimes I carry a thumb tip. I don't carry a thumb tip all the time. I used to carry a thumb tip all the time, but I found I didn't use it very much. So this is a king size. I actually shaved it down. It's a little shorter than a king size. I like the size of a king size thumb tip and what it gave me in terms of what I can get in there in terms of paper and pellets and whatnot. So that's a king size I carry. Sometimes here's a regular size. Vernet thumb tips is what I use. I've never used anything else. If I do carry a thumb tip, I will often put an extra $1 bill folded up in there ready for the $100 bill change. So running around adults, there's a lot of people carry a $100 bill or a high denomination bill. I usually don't do it unless I can find 100. It's not worth it doing a 50. I'm kind of a snob that way. I want to do it with 100. So over the summer, I did this a handful of times in a couple of different places. People had them. So I'll carry a thumb tip in one, especially if I'm at a restaurant or something like that, or if I know there's going to be a lot of people around, I might stick this in my pocket with that. Otherwise, I have the 100 duplicate in here, and I can do that occasionally where I'll borrow a 1 and I'll go the other way and then go back. So I carry that with me. Other things you can do with a thumb tip, the vanish with the Gregory Wilson foreign affair gimmick, or you can do the foreign affair gimmick and then come back to a 1. I haven't done that in a long time, but you can do that. So thumb tip I carry for the bill change and simple vanishes. I carry this. I carried this the last year and a half. This is a Bic pen, but it's not an ordinary Bic pen, and it's not a prop that I bought. It is a regular Bic pen. I took some acetone, and actually I found this one had some lettering on it, and I took off the lettering with the acetone, so it was a regular one, because I can't find these in box form anymore where they're white. So usually I find these at a pharmacy or something where it's got the name of the pharmacy or the company on it. So whenever I see white Bic pens anywhere that are for free, I take one, right? So I can have them for this purpose. This has the misled gimmick on it. I actually made a misled gimmick for the white Bic pen, and it needs to be white. It can't be. It's better if it's white and not black or gray because it seems more exposed. But the issue with misled, and here's my misled pencil. You can see I keep a pen cap on my misled pencil so that I can always have a pencil where I don't break the tip. I can put this in my pocket. The problem with this is that you don't carry a number 2 pencil. So it's not justified. It's not as justified as it was when I was in school, when I was a teenager and I did that trick a lot. I can't justify it that much anymore because I never have a regular pencil. So I started using this. So I can do the misled trick using this and a gimmick that I made for this type of pen, and I'm always on the lookout for those kind. I carry that sometimes, not very often, but every now and then. Again, if I know I'm going out to a restaurant or something, I'll put it in my pocket, put it in my jacket. If I wear suit coats a lot, I dress up a lot. I wear a suit coat to work as a teacher. I'm old school, so I will put some things in there like that. When I go to church, I wear a suit coat, so I just kind of wear that kind of outfit, and it makes sense for me to put some things like that in a pocket and it's not in the way. Very rarely, but more recently, I've been keeping a thumb writer on me. And along with that is a small packet of Post-it notes. So I've been doing this more recently where occasionally I will do this and I'll do some mental feats, some thought of things. It is a great out. It is the perfect out, but I never need to use it for that. So I don't carry it for that reason. But I've been carrying it lately and trying to experiment more with that kind of mentalism using a thumb writer. And because I've been doing that, I also purchased a box of 3 2.0 lead pencils. These are drafting pencils. I don't sharpen the end. I just keep it stubby. And the idea there being is that I can write with this and then I can use this and the writing is indistinguishable. So I just kind of decided I'm going to use whatever's on the tip. Whatever's on the writer is what I'll write with, and that solves my problem there. So I usually carry this every day as my regular pencil, just to write with. So even at work, I write with a pencil and I write with that one. Thumb writer and Post-it notes, 2mm pencil to go along with it. I haven't even gotten to the one you're thinking about, but I never carry cards. I just rarely do it. This is a sometimes thing. And if I do carry it, I don't carry them in my pocket. I'll put them in my bag. So if I'm traveling, if I'm on vacation, or if I'm somewhere out and I have my computer bag with me or something, I'll throw a deck of cards in there. I don't carry cards very much. I don't really do a lot of card magic unless I'm in an environment where there are cards. If I do carry cards, lately I've been carrying plastic Copags. I don't need to do any kind of Pharaoh shuffling. I don't do a lot of that. These aren't great for Pharaoh shuffles, but because I don't do that, these are great cards. They fan great. For me, I don't do cardistry and stuff. They stay clean. They've got a great classic design on them. I've got a few different colors. I have these set up in my stack, which I sell on Penguin. I've talked about some of the theory behind my stack, but that stack is on Penguin Magic. You can find it there. And I also keep it indexed with breathers. So I keep it indexed with, and I talk about that in that video download, where I have breather crimps permanently set into these plastic cards. And I even teach on that download how to do that with plastic cards. But I keep it indexed so that I can cut to places that I need to get to quickly. And I also keep a double thick card in this as well, because I have a lot of effects that I do with a double thick card, and I even use a double thick card in the stack. So I often, whenever I use the stack, I don't keep it in stack long. Usually it gets shuffled out of stack pretty immediately, but I'm able to do one of my stack effects with that. I'll also get to, in a minute, my cell phone, but my cell phone I use in conjunction with this, some things I've talked about on the channel. Before I carried the Copags, I always carried Arco playing cards. I like these more than bicycles. If I don't have one of those, maybe I'll have a bicycle deck on me, or a B deck. I actually favor B decks over bicycles. But as bordered decks go, I always loved Arco because, again, of that classic design. It just looks old school. I think they're very pretty and classic. They don't look goofy. They don't look new. They don't look, hip. I like classic. So this is what I carried. And same thing, carry them in stack with a double thick joker. Both jokers with the double thick joker in there, so I can use that. So cards, that's what I carry, and how I carry them, when I carry them, usually in a bag, not on my person. Sometimes if I go out to the mall or something, if I'm going with my family and I know I'm going to be sitting waiting on people, I will throw that in a pocket, maybe a jacket pocket, and take it with me and mess around with it. Phone. My phone's being used to record this, so I can't look at that. But I have a force calculator on my phone. I don't use the toxic force on calculators. Calculators, apps have kind of moved beyond the capability of doing that unless you're using Apple. And most people I know don't use Apple products. I don't use Apple. I'm not a fan of Apple products. Too expensive for what you get. I didn't mean this to be an Apple review, but that's just how I feel. I use Android, so everything I do is on an Android platform. I'm a Linux user as a computer user. I do all of my music in Linux. I do all of my computing in Linux. Android is very closely associated with Linux. It's open. It's free. You can do a lot with it. Apple Windows has you kind of locked out. So the more proprietary stuff I don't use. So Android for me, and a force calculator app that looks like a very clean calculator. I use it very rarely, and only in particular company would I even bother going that route. But I can type in what I want to force right away, clear, and then do my addition, multiplication, and then get a force number out. Sometimes I'll use that in association with the raffle ticket that's in there if I don't have cards on me to do it that way. To do a clean force where I take numbers and then I come up with something it's not a mathematical trick. Okay. I also have a hacked Google Assistant on my phone. So my phone has pre-programmed responses in Google Assistant. If I ask it to name a playing card, it will name any random playing card. If I ask it to name a random playing card, it will name a forced playing card. So I can do it fair a couple times and show how it works, and then I can do the force by adding the word random to it. I also have forced numbers in there, a couple for card at location kind of forces. So I've got that. And then also I have some spoof web pages. I don't need my phone for that though. All I need to know is my URL, my short URL, and I can go to anybody's browser and anybody's phone. I've shared this on the channel. I just type in my short URL. It brings up a spoofed Google voice search, and then I can do a couple of amazing things that look completely fair in terms of forcing, usually associated with playing cards and numbers. So spoofed pages, and there's a lot of things you can do with that. Check out that tutorial, search on my channel here, and you'll find a tutorial on that idea. Using Google products, using free stuff. You don't have to pay for this. You can just use things that are freely available. If you have a Gmail account, you can make spoofed web pages very easily. Things that I do that I have on me all the time that really are nothing. I don't have to have anything because it's all here. It's just impromptu. The Mark Paul AAA book test. I swear by that. So the Mark Paul AAA book test with any kind of book, could be hardback, could be softback book, been around a long time. He tips it, he sells the effect for more than what probably it's worth for what it is, because if you go to the Penguin Live series, I swear by Penguin Live lectures. You get way more bang for your buck. They're better than buying tricks from those creators. So if you get Mark Paul's Penguin Live lecture from a number of years ago, he teaches the AAA book test on that download, and it's much more cost effective. And he teaches a million other great things too that work good with numbers and mentalism, and in some playing card mentalism stuff, some tactics that I like to use. But Mark Paul AAA book test, I swear by it. Always have it on me because it's in my head. Another one is Banachek's Liar Truth Teller thing is something I have in my head, and you can do with any object at any time, anywhere. The Liar Truth Teller logic game is a great impromptu thing that I do with some frequency. So that's pretty much it. I think I've covered everything that I have on me all the time, and some things that I have on me sometimes, things that I carry with me occasionally. So yeah, cards are only an occasional thing for me. Thumb tips kind of occasional for me. Thumb writer occasional for me. Other propped kind of gimmicked sort of things occasional for me. But I always carry my wallet, the things in it, and I always carry that super triple coin, and that's what I have on me. Sometimes if I'm in a place where I can get to rubber bands, I'll do a couple of rubber band things. I do Crazy Man's Handcuff. Crazy Man Handcuffs gets a bad rap. That is still a great trick. It's one you should know. People don't know how to do that. Magicians know it, but other people, they're blown by that. It's such a great presentation. So that's as far as I go with rubber band magic, but sometimes I'll have that on me, or I can find a rubber band in a moment. So that's it. Everyday carry, and that was only almost 40 minutes. And the time it took me to talk about it is much quicker than it would take me to do all of the tricks that I've talked about. So that's a lot of repertoire. You could have a show. If I was a traveling magician, right, and I had my big stage illusions, and I heard this I've been reading David Copperfield's History of Magic book recently, working my way through it. And he talks, I can't remember who it was, but showed up in none of his, might have been Alexander, none of the props showed up. They got stuck in transit. And he did all of this impromptu stuff with just billets and mentalism, right? Things that he knew. You know, if I was that person and I got stuck in a stage or in a parlor, I'm good. I'm good to go. I can go one thing to the next. And a lot of these things don't require setup. But with good presentation, I could go for quite a while on that. So anyway, that's what I carry. What do you carry? You know, put it in the comments section. Make a video of your own. You know, get your cell phone out there, shoot a video, post the link in the comment section. Let's share what we all have and give each other some good ideas. So with that, good luck, happy snow day, and happy magicking.